Hi, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is about our sketchbook. Why are we drawing in it? In the last couple of weeks, I've talked about, the purpose for drawing and why I've chosen to focus on quick pen with watercolor wash afterward. Well, today's video is comparing two different methods. So the first one I did with watercolor first, and then I added pen. I'll have a demo on this one, how I did that. The second one, I thought I was videoing and I did the same thing, watercolor first, but decided to leave out the background because when you're working in your journal, this is the best time to explore and experiment. So if you did one at one point and thought, I think it's a little busy, I'll see what it does if I leave the background out. So I did that. And then I realized, even though I'm going back with pen and adding the detail later, that the one that I did last, where I did the pen first, I kind of like the best. So I want you to look at each one and kind of tell me what you think. Which one do you like? Now, you might like all of them. Today I'm going to detour just slightly from the last few videos that I've done. I've been doing line drawings and then adding watercolor and showing you how quickly you can do it. And today I'm going to show you the opposite. So with the same materials, my basic little kit, water brush, a 005 micron, a Uniball eye micro, any Uniball eye that's waterproof. It doesn't even have to be waterproof on this one. And I have my basic primary plus burnt sienna palette and my convenience colors, Opera, Peacock Blue by Mission, Dioxazine Purple, and Gamboge. And all of those are different brands, but all professional grade. And you can see right now that I have not cleaned my palettes, so I'll take a short pause and get that done. One of the things I want to remind you is I put a freezer sheet on the page that I'm not painting on, and the freezer sheet slick side is the outside, so that when something drops on here, it's not absorbed and doesn't go through. But it just helps protect the page you're not currently working on. The water brush I'm working with is Pentel Large. It's about the only one I ever use. I've tried other brands, but I guess because I learned on this one, it's just my go-to happy one. The picture that I'm using as reference today is from Gibbs Garden. It's a beautiful privately owned garden that's open, I think, 8 months out of the year. There's something blooming every time I go, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm looking out at the poppies with the other floral behind it. The bright red, purple are just the forefront of it, but if I'm sitting there and I want to capture it quickly, I don't have to capture the whole scene and I don't have to include the background. I can just zoom in. So if I include the background, I'd want to put it in wet on wet and let it dry. Matter of fact, I'll just do two different ones of this same scene and you can decide which one you'd want to do. So the background, wet on wet, it has a blue, pale blue sky. So this is ultramarine and a tiny bit of the peacock blue. Because blue and yellow make green, I'm not going to worry about saving the area where the green is. I'm just going to paint the blue. So it wasn't a totally flat hill. Put that in. While I've got that, then I'm going to add a little bit more green and let the green take off to be the trees, and add a little more yellow where I want the light. A little darker, just add a little bit more blue. And trees in the background you want to be fuzzy because they're in the background. So now I'm going to take that same line and I'm going to hit it to soften it. Okay, so now I want yellow tones, but I want them a richer yellow. So I go to the Gamboge and throw some of that in. While that's wet, pick up a little bit more blue, throw that in just to break up the yellow, just to give it some definition that it's a field of green grass amongst the yellow flowers. And then I'm going to drag that in here. I want to soften this. I don't want it totally wet, but I do want to create some definition. And this is when I'm starting to do a little more close-ups, is getting close to the flowers that I see. That dark color should have been saved for a little bit of little more close. I want to, well, I'm not going to worry about that. This is so thin, I can come back with thicker paint. But I do not want to paint where the poppies are. I want to paint around those. So just give a quick edge to that. And the poppies move in the wind, so everything's going to be moving while I'm painting, which is a fun challenge. That's okay. A lot of verticals coming up at you. And I'm going to go ahead and take a detour and mix up this really bright red, Pearline red, I believe, Daniel Smith. I wanted a little more, less, I want it more oranger, so I'm going to add, yeah, there we go. I'm going to add some gamboge to that. And while I have some on my brush, I'm just going to flick it in the back, and I'm going to have to re-wet that because that's going to leave a hard edge. Let me wipe this off. Wet this background a bit. I want these wet. This is not watercolor paper, it's mixed media paper, so it doesn't take, it'll warp, and that's okay for what I'm doing. I'm still capturing the essence of the place. These, I want to get some of these purple. Now purple and yellow are opposite on the color wheel, so if I put too much purple where the yellow is, I see like how dull that is. Very dull. I might have to come back with some white gouache and come underneath that and make it more vibrant. But right now I'm just hinting at the flowers that are there. It's not a painting to go on your wall. It's a memory of where I was. And I don't mind if these purple have, see, I'm not even paying attention to my picture, but that's okay. It's, there, you know, there's purple flowers all over the place, and then long stems of green. I'm gonna go ahead and put in some of those that break the line of the trees. There's a pod on that one. I need to go ahead and put that other red in. Okay, I want the light toward the center, so I push the color. See, the light will be where the water is on the brush. So I'm going to just move my brush around in this direction, try to get the lay of the poppy petals, and in a quick way. I like this poppy better than that one, so I'm going to come back and make this one different. This one, it is slightly different because this one has white on the inside and the other one does not. There's all sorts of poppies blooming in the area, and little poppy pods and all sorts. Okay, I've got to do something underneath the poppies. That's dead space. So I want this more vibrant red. I mean green. That's too. Opposite of green is red. I'm going to add just a touch in there, dull that down. See, that's better. All right, so I want to leave, I'm painting the negative space right now under the poppies. While that's wet, I'm going to hit it again with some other colors. Kind of saving the light where the stem would be. And I don't use the masking fluid because I don't want to wait for it. There's nothing wrong with using masking fluid, but when I'm out sketching, that I don't need the delay, and I just want to capture something quick and just get the general feel for it. All right, there's a bunch of other lines. I'm not really liking that one, but that's okay. Just embrace it and just go with it. They're blowing in the wind, and you can go out of your border. One of them actually has a flower at the top, but I'm not gonna draw that one. Let's come back with that purple. Oops, that was. Let's see. It's not as bright as I'd like, but that's better now that the yellow is more dry. Okay. Gonna let that dry. Oops, need yellow centers for this one. This one has darker tones on the inside, so I'm gonna mix some darks that I've got, purple and blue, throw in a little burnt sienna, and that'll make a pretty nice dark. It's a little bluer than I needed, but that's okay. When you're working with pen, I don't use a fountain pen, so I need at least 2 different widths of pen. And this one has a line that thick, this one that thick. So sometimes I'll start with the thinner line, and then when I know for sure which direction I want to go, then I'll add the thicker. But often if I want line in the background, then I'll save my thinnest line for the background. In this one, I'm not going to put any line back here because I want the attention to be focused on the front. So since that's the case, I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to just add little suggestions of the line that I have and not be real picky that I'm staying inside the lines. That's the joy of the loose pen. It is not outlining every bit perfectly. You don't want to do that. It just makes it stiff, and I just don't like that. So here, I'm just not even trying necessarily to be accurate, but I'm focusing. That brings your attention to that plant, and I don't even know I don't remember what it was. Phlox, maybe. Y'all can tell me in the comments if you know what kind of flower that is. I know these are poppies, but I don't know what type of poppies. Now, do I want to outline that one? No, I don't. I don't want to outline everything, but I want to outline enough that I bring the attention to what I want, and I'm going to embrace that a little bit more, just outline it. The things that are blurred in the background, I leave. I can make up some leaves down here, and I think I'm done. So get my little pen, sign my name. There, that one's finished. I messed up again. I videoed this. I thought I videoed this. This is what I did in about 12 minutes, laying in the color, making a variety. I'd accidentally stopped all the lines about here, so I extended this piece of grass higher, and it looks kind of a mess right now. One thing, looking at it, I'm not really sure that I like only just 2 poppies, but it's okay. Now that I'm going to come back with the pen, because things are up close, I'm doing it very similar to the last one, and just outlining some of the petals and not being too exact with the outline. You don't want it to look like a coloring book. You just want to add enough that, adds character, movement. See how it's just squiggles. I'm not even, isn't that fun? Just add a few little wiggles and squiggles, is what I call them. And several times when I'm not loving a painting that I did, I'll add line to it, and then it's like, oh, You know, that's not so bad after all. I do want to add some splatters to this one just to make it different. So hold on for that and we'll see how it goes. But see how just a little bit of wiggly pen can help the look of a painting. Okay. I got a larger brush, go in the red, really, really juicy. Get your pen. These, I like that, it just adds so much more fun. I want purple, purple splatters. Let it dry. We're done. It was fun. I hope you got something out of it. I'm continuing my continuous line drawing or quick sketching and then a watercolor wash, starting with the flowers that are closest to me. So Alexa, start stopwatch.
Good morning, Kari. Okay, stopwatch started.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down.
Alexa, stop. Quick, loose drawing. What I like is I get the feel of multiple foliage all together, but it's not too fussy, I don't think. Okay, so I'm using my water brush. I have paints here that the lid's not necessarily clean, but it has colors that I'm going to need. I'll just start at the top and work down. So purple. I want a little more water in this so that it'll read a little lighter. Whoops, it's really dark. There we go.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Let's try it a little while.
Okay, never mind. I didn't know if it would do that or not, but that's okay. Y'all can look at the timer on the video and see how long this part takes. So. Add a variety of color. I think I'm just gonna do some of the background and just mix that in. Start with the lighter tones. You can always get darker. I'm gonna paint around those because those are purple. And these are lighter, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that, and I'll push the dark behind it in a minute. I want pretty red. I'll just lay that in bright red. I want it a little oranger. I picked up, need to clean out my paint. It's nice to have more than one color in your brush or on your palette. So that just adds variety to the flower. I need to come over here and clean my yellow. It had too much green in it. And green and red dull each other. And I didn't want to dull that flower. I wanted to make it more vibrant. So can't do that if your yellow is dull. Okay, so this is Opera. It's a little more pink. I'm going to add that one over here and just make it a little bit different. Try to leave the white interior. If I don't, that's okay. But rotate your brush to leave that. If you want it to be blurred, you can add water. Okay, I need more green. See, I should not have stopped this green right there. It should cross the line. So here I'm laying in some dark. That's a little brown. Why is it a little brown? Because I had red in my brush. Okay, make a pure, cleaner green and go over this. But you don't want the green to just stop on one side of a stem. You want it to continue. And I want it to kind of just dissipate down here. And there'll be some things that I'm not going to outline. And as you can see, some things are in the outline, so that's all right. Come back and put in this purple plant while I have it on my brush. I'm going to add some darker tones even to this one because it has shadows. I actually want to add some blue to it too. Probably should have done that a little sooner. Make a little puddle. Get a little of the peacock blue in there. It's a lot stronger than the ultramarine. Okay, blue and yellow make green, so while I have blue on my brush, I can come back in and just darken some of this back here. Break that line up. Want a little more yellow in it here with the peacock, and I just messed up. The peacock and the bright yellow do make a really pretty green. Might be a little too bright for this, but that's okay. It's pretty bright in the picture, isn't it? What I have so far is pretty dull, so let me add some brighter greens. And I want a little bit of green. Sorry, I gotta take my watch off. I don't like how it hits the desk. And everything doesn't have to be within the cluster of, I need to leave some white. And so having some things come out without the line is also fine. It really was breezy that day, so I don't want everything to look like it's stagnant. These had cool little lines on them. Don't need to put that much detail in it, but kind of fuzzy and knobby. I think I'll stop. When I consider all that's done, I really like the last one best. If you look at the line work in this, and I'll actually just put it on the screen, I just feel like it's more descriptive of what's there, and it's still playful, and I paid closer attention to each individual shape that I drew. And maybe it was because it was the third one I did. That's always an option, to do more than one and see which one you like the best. Your journal is a place for you to play, a place for you to see what if. And if it doesn't work out, rip it out. Nothing's wrong with that. You don't have to show all your work. So I hope today's video has been informative and you've learned something. So please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate how my channel is growing and the comments that you make. Let me know if you try it and how long it took you. Then I'm on my way to North Carolina. I will be teaching there the next week. One of my subscribers, Becky, is going to join me there. I wish you were joining her, but we're going to have a good time, and I hope she will learn a lot from the experience. So out for now, and I'll talk to you later. See you next week.